Welcome to the Build Your World-Class Brand Online Global Virtual Summit, featuring insights and stories from leading experts from around the world on how to make a bigger impact, sell your services online, and create an international lifestyle. Hi, I'm Hannah Fitz, international brand strategist and business coach at the Brand Atelier at hannahfitz.com, where I help extraordinary, passion-driven women just like you turn your expertise and powerful personal story into a world-class brand so you can stand out and live the cultured life. Today's guest is the definition of a high-power female entrepreneur who keeps her standards high and her heels even higher. Born in Nigeria, Uyo Okebie Eichelberger moved to the U.S. at the age of 17 to attend Georgia Tech University as a computer engineering major and later got an MBA from Duke University. She soon realized that the corporate life was not aligned with her passion. She is now the fiercely amazing founder of the multi-million-dollar empire, Uyo Lingerie and Preggo Leggins. Her brands have been featured in the New York Times, Glamour magazine, Cosmopolitan, the Huffington Post, the Today Show, and is sold in 120 stores worldwide. She is a mother, wife to her college sweetheart, and a fashionista. Welcome, Uyo. So, Uyo, thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm so excited to share your story with other women out there who are looking to build their own brand and start their own business. You studied computer engineering. How did you make that transition from computer engineering, very techy and perhaps something associated with nerds, to the fashion world?
I'm still a nerd, believe it or not. But I think that's a great question. Honestly, when I look back at sort of like my journey, if someone would have told me while I was studying computer engineering at Georgia Tech, that, fast forward a few years later, that I would be running a fashion-based company, that I would be like, what? Because I actually remember while I was in undergrad, people would always say, you should totally do something in fashion. Yeah. And I used to be so offended by that because I felt like they were insulting my intelligence. Because yes, I love fashion, and yes, I love to dress really nice and have an eye for trends and all of that. But to be honest, I felt like I'm a really smart girl, and I'm studying engineering. Like, why should I do something where you don't really, at least at the time, I felt like you really didn't need a brain to do,
I can totally get what you're saying.
But that was me not thinking sort of big picture, to be honest. And to be honest with you, I've always had an eye for fashion. I never studied it formally. But I've always been, sort of into it. I've always loved it as a young girl and even up until now. So when I sort of, went to school and decided I didn't want to go that route, and then went to business school and did Duke for 2 years, and then decided to go into brand management. Right. Honestly, I've always sort of known that I was going to do something entrepreneurial, but I just didn't know what it was going to be. Right. So, honestly, it sort of happened out of my own personal need when I became a mom for the first time and realized that there weren't a lot of options for, new moms and breastfeeding moms to, for nursing bras. And I felt sort of, I didn't wear such grandma looking undergarments before. So why should I do it now just because I'm a mom? And it didn't make sense to me. And no one else was doing anything at the time about it. So I sort of just felt connected to it in the way that I talked to friends who had just become moms at the time, and they were like, yeah, what's going on? Like, why is that? So exactly. It happened because I wanted something for myself. So I took matters into my own hand and sort of just, went
for it. Now, talking about going for it, I think the challenge a lot of entrepreneurs face is that leaving the comfort of your job security and going out on your own, where you don't have that okay, I'm getting this salary every month. It's going to come in. You're just going into the unknown. How did you handle that transition? You know, how did you get the courage and the confidence to leave the comfort zone of the corporate world and go out on your own?
Was it scary? Hell yes, it was. Honestly speaking, if I have, to be honest, and I don't want anyone to ever think, oh no, it's just, easy breezy. Because I was making six figures at the time. I had a really nice career as a brand manager on the Kraft macaroni and cheese brand. I was on maternity leave. Like I had a cushy life. But it was a household where, it's like we're both working and we had nice careers. And when I decided to take this plunge and jump into entrepreneurship, yes, it was scary, but I believed passionately in what I was trying to accomplish. Like I believed in the idea and I knew that there was a white space opportunity. So I just knew that I had to do it. And to be honest, how I was able to make the transition was I psyched myself up. I told myself, okay, you're a really smart girl. If it doesn't work, what's the worst that can happen? You're always employable. You always get another job. Like, so what? So the moment I started believing that and knowing that I had a nice resume and I could make a career, I could take this jump, I could jump into this. And if it doesn't work out, I can go back to work. The moment I started to realize that I had that I had the skill set and an ability to be able to do that, I was like, you know what, it's cool. Let's do this. Let's see what happens,
Exactly.
And it was the best decision. It really was.
Hey, you have the evidence now. So I just want to ask, because you mentioned your husband, and a lot of women struggle with that area where maybe they're not getting the support of the man in their life to take that new journey or make that leap. How was having your husband's support crucial to your success? Do you think it was crucial to your success?
Yes, very much so. I think when you decide to do something so big and so bold, it is always it's always easier for you because you're the one taking the risk, but it's almost a little bit, it softens it up a little bit when you have the support of the people around you, the people that are cheering you on when it gets hard.
Exactly.
When you have to cry that ugly cry at 2:00 in the morning because nothing is going the way you wanted it to go. And having that person say, it's okay, this will pass, just sort of that encouragement. I think has been, I don't know how I even today could have been where I am without his support. And he's such a huge part of this, even if he's sort of behind the scenes, but he's part of my business and what I do. He's the person I'm bouncing ideas off of, and those big ideas and strategic thinking, all of those things. I think it's been amazing having that support. Now, for women who don't have that, I will say, find it somewhere else, maybe. I don't know, girlfriends, your parents, your siblings, I don't know. But it's always nice to have sort of that like support. It takes a village. You know how people say it takes a village?
Absolutely.
It's like your business is like a kid, and it does take a village.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think, one of the things I never forgot in my own journey was my family as well, their support. But also, I remember one of my close girlfriends said to me, Hannah, you know what? There are two kinds of people in this world. There are the people who swim and the people who drown. And I think you're a swimmer. I don't care what happens. You're going to swim.
Swim. However way you have to do it, just swim.
I can tell you that has helped me. Like, no matter what happens, I always remember that. I'm like, okay, swim, Hannah, swim.
Great story and analogy to remember. It's like,
yeah.
Swimmer, are you going to sink or are you going to swim?
Oh, you're going to swim. Let's go. Exactly.
No, I love that. I love that.
So the next challenge I want to know about is a lot of first-time moms, because you got this inspiration while you were carrying your son and trying to find the right fashion to keep your look. A lot of first-time moms think, okay, I have a kid now, too much responsibility. You know what? business on the back burner. I'm just going to focus here. And that's okay. But what about those who really want to do it? How did you find the balance between raising a newborn and starting up a new business, which is like a newborn in itself?
It just meant working really long hours. I always tell people I literally traded my long days of being a brand manager at Crafts for longer days and nights as an entrepreneur. And it really is tough and it really is hard, especially because I was a first-time mom. I didn't know anything about being a mom. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
I was figuring that out. But I mean, to be honest, it's just like anything. It's like when you go to college for the first time, you're not with your parents. It's the first time you're away from home and you have to figure it out. You navigate in, and you don't know what you don't know, but you find your way. You know, you find the way to swim. And to be honest, for me, as a first-time mom and going into entrepreneurship the first time, it was really difficult. It was really difficult because I had so many things all at once. I wasn't sleeping, but I think I really quickly realized that I needed to be 80-20, to be honest. I needed to figure out Pareto's principle. I needed to find a way to focus on the things that gave the highest impact, you know, that, you know, whatever I needed to do that was able to give me the best results was what I focused on. And then I just sort of let go. You have to realize that you're one person and there's only 24 hours in a day, and you have to find ways to, you know, outsource what you can outsource and take on the things that you can take on and realize that it's okay, you know?
So my question is, work-life balance, is that overrated?
No, I don't think so. I think it depends on how you define it. And for me, I feel like I have it. I feel like, you know, when I hear the debate about, oh, can women have it all and work-life balance and all of that, honestly, I feel like you can. It's just a choice. It's a matter of choice. It's like going back to what I just said earlier, 80-20, Pareto's principle. You can, but you just have to choose the things that you want to focus on. For me, you know, my work is like my third baby. I have two kids. I have a daughter who's 7 and a son that's 4. And this is like my third baby. And the same way I make time for my kids and my husband, I make time for the business, and I want it to flourish and I want it to do well. So, you know, to be honest, one of the examples I like to use is I don't like to clean my house because frankly, it took me a million years to finish cleaning my house. So it's easier for me, or it's smarter for me to pay somebody who's going to come in and do it in 3 hours than the entire weekend that it's going to take for me to do it myself. So you just have to make those choices and figure out what's important to you and what are you willing to do to outsource the things that you would rather not spend time doing.
Exactly. So it's more like working smarter, not harder, and finding the way.
Exactly. And I say that all the time. You have to find, you know, opportunities in your life where you're working smarter and you don't have to put on that, you know, that burden on yourself. If you can, you know.
So, I mean, I'm sure our audience can feel your high energy, and it's just amazing.
Very high energy.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But I want to know what inspired the name of your company, You Lingerie?
To be honest, so I was like, I had like my my notebook writing all kinds of names, like, oh, what are we going to call this company? What is it going to be? And, you know, all these names. And I was just like, wait a second, why are we thinking so hard? Because to be honest, that's how I felt at that time. You know, it's about you as a mom, as a new mom, as a breastfeeding mom. You're still you. You're still who you are. And just because you have a new title of mom, if you love fashion before, you still love fashion. So why should you have to dumb that down because you became a mom and you had a baby and you're breastfeeding? If you want to wear pretty underwear before, you still want to wear pretty underwear.
Absolutely.
So for me, it was just like, duh, like that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to call it You Lingerie. You with an exclamation because it's like you know what I mean?
And that has so much energy in it. So I think it's an amazing name. Yeah.
And plus, you know, it's an anagram. Because if you scramble the words, it spells out my name. So I was just like, oh, this is perfect. I felt good about it. So I was like, we're going to go with that. So I was like, done.
So a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with defining a niche, and you have a very clear niche. You know who you're serving. Your product is very specific. It's in the fashion industry, but specifically the lingerie.
And specifically maternity.
Maternity, exactly. And so that's a really tight niche. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs are scared because they think, well, what if I go too tight? And do you think it's important to clearly define a lane and stick to it?
I mean, I think when you're going on a journey, if you're traveling anywhere, you should clearly put some thought into where you're going and what the end goal is. And to be honest, I think you need to figure out and do your research. When I was doing my research and going through sort of, creating my business plan, I spent time really, I guess it's the analytics in me, spending time understanding the market. How big was the market? What percentage of the pie am I going for? Is it possible? Who are the players? Who are the key players? Whose cookies am I trying to steal right now?
I like that. Whose cookies are you trying to steal? Let's that.
Whose cookies am I going to be like taking little nibs of to create something for me? And it made sense. It was a big enough market. It made sense. I knew that we could make a lot of money, and I went for it. So yes, it's very important. And I'm not saying go super, super tight or not, but I think it's important to do your research and understand how big is this market. When I said there was a white space opportunity, at the time, this was in 2000 and late 2009, almost 2010, when I started sort of really thinking about it, there was nothing else out there. And when I did find one or two, they weren't even American brands. They were like Australian, and they were really pricey. I was just like, why isn't anyone doing this? Like,
it's like, it's so obvious. You start to think something might be wrong.
Exactly. And that was, I actually had that. I was like, why isn't anybody doing it? Like maybe they've tried it and failed, but let's go see it. But I knew that those brands that one brand in Australia was doing really well. So I was like, we need this in America. Let's do this. So I started, and I sort of, went ahead and tried it, and it's been the best thing ever. Now everyone is coming out with maternity lingerie and fashion that's more fashion, and even the brands that have been around forever and now coming out with
their own
fashion line, because they realize that, moms are saying no more. We're taking back our bodies, we're taking back who we are, and we are proud for the fact that we carried a baby, and we're going to embrace it, and it people buy into it, so everyone's getting on board.
Absolutely. Now, I think that for a brand to be successful, it must have three things, and I call it the 3 M's: mission, message, and movement. What's your mission? What's your message? And what is your movement?
Honestly, that's so when I think about it, I think mission. Our mission as a business, as Uyo Lingerie, and even for Preggo Leggins, my newer brand, is to make moms feel beautiful every day. It's not just when you're skinny, it's also when you don't feel like you look your best and you still are harboring 20 extra pounds because you just had your baby. But when you're wearing beautiful undergarments, you have a feel and a sense of confidence that you feel. So that's our mission, is to make her feel like she's beautiful every day, make her feel beautiful inside and out. So that's our mission. The second thing that you said was the message. I mean, the message is loud and clear. I feel like with what we've been able to do for the last 4.5, 5 years, is to clearly say that, breastfeeding is beautiful, pregnancy is beautiful, and so should your undergarments. Why should you?
Exactly.
It doesn't match if you say, oh, I'm carrying a baby, I'm having a baby, or I'm breastfeeding, but then now you wear like granny panties, or wear only black and wear only white and no lace and no frills. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. The message is exactly that. Your undergarments should be beautiful too.
And your movement.
My movement. So Honestly, the movement is, I think a lot of moms have rallied behind the idea. And I think when we first launched, it made sense and they bought into it. And
Right.
it was like, why do we have to wear, granny panties just because we're moms or just because we're breastfeeding? I was
Exactly.
wearing, lacy, frilly things before, and I want to continue to do that. So I think the movement came as a result of people sort of buying into the idea
Mm-hmm.
and marching along with us.
Excellent. So I want to ask, you started this brand from scratch. I mean, how do you enter? I know the fashion market can be quite a challenging market to break through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what were the major breakthroughs for you, and what were the major challenges in building your brand?
So you mean specifically in fashion or just
Yes, in general.
in general?
Yeah.
Um, Challenges. Let's talk about challenges. So when I think of when I started, yeah, you're right. It was from scratch,
Yeah.
like zilch. I didn't have like some rich dad. It was like, oh, here's $1 million to start your business.
Right.
It was literally from our savings, and we knew going into it that this was what we were going to do, that we were going to bootstrap it, and it was going to
Mhm.
be purely from what we have put aside. So to me, when I think to our earlier times and the challenges that I faced, one of them is honestly the bootstrapping itself. So
Right.
you have a finite amount of money that you are starting your business with. And
Mhm.
with that comes, being really responsible and figuring out what is the best use of this finite dollars that I have for
Right.
marketing and things like that. So being really scrappy.
Mm-hmm.
We had to learn really
Scrappy.
quickly. No, we had to learn. I had to learn really, really quickly on, how to take your dollars far, how to make it
Sure.
work for you, and things
Mhm.
like that. So,
Mhm.
one of the things that I remember thinking was we needed to sort of adopt the lean startup, mentality.
Right.
Launch quickly and do it as lean as possible. You don't need to have 5 employees to start. You don't need to start with the perfect product. It was the minimal viable product that we had. Yes,
Right.
we've come a long way and we've improved on our product since we've started, but it's
Right.
part of what we had to do to overcome, the
Sure.
challenge of
So you're
having.
saying it was more a concept of what we hear a lot these days in terms of going for progress and not perfection, because some people want to wait to have everything to start.
And when you do that, you might end up never launching your business.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I forget how someone said it the other day. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good, or something like that.
I like that. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
it doesn't have to be perfect, but you can kind of work on it and perfect it as you go. But
Yeah,
put it out there and let people figure out if they want to buy your product, if it's
exactly.
a good idea, So that was definitely a challenge. The other challenge, when I think back, honestly, is, delegating. I felt like, this was my baby and it was so dear to my heart, and
Oh,
every aspect of the business I was a part of. So as we started to grow, it was hard to let go of certain things that I had been sort of hogging to
yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
like for example, when it came down to, let's say, customer service. Because when I started, I took on the role of everything. I was CEO, I was the
Yeah.
marketing manager, I was sales, I was customer service. And when we started to expand and grow, I didn't think anybody could answer the questions the way that I would answer the and I had
Yeah.
the right answer for every problem that a customer had, and letting that go
Yeah.
was really difficult. But
Mhm.
you realize that if you want your business to flourish and grow and
Have to
hit
let go.
those marks, you have to delegate and you have to let go. And how you do that is putting systems in place so that
Mhm.
other people can do the job without you. So if you feel like you're the best person that can answer the question, guess
Yeah.
what? you write it down, you create
Yes.
processes. This is how you answer this question, and you know, and so on and so forth. So I was definitely able to overcome it. Let's see, did you say 2 or 3?
So just the challenges, and also what were your major breakthroughs?
Got it. So as far as breakthroughs, to be honest, I always sort of look at the journey to date and attribute it to, you know, 3 things, 3 P's actually: the people, the product, and the process. And when I say that, when I look at sort of like the whole story, like in totality, starting, you know, let's start with the product. I mean, it was a good idea because it was something that I felt and other people felt. There was just no one taking the initiative to take it forward and do something about it. So, you know, taking a good product idea, but really executing, really well, I think was one of them. The second is, when I think of the second breakthrough, is through the people. I think surrounding yourself, as we've grown, surrounding myself with people who believe in the same things that I believe in, who believe in my dream and the passions and sort of where we're going, and being excited, just as excited as I am to go on the journey with us, has been amazing. And when I think of people too, you think of people internally and people as your customers. You know, our customers have been a huge help. Like, they've been instrumental in helping to get the You Lingerie brand and name out there. They believe in it. They love it. You know, so it's been sort of 2 sides, you know, like internally my team, and then our customer base, and the people who just sort of go rah rah for you. And then lastly, processes. I mean, I preach it all the time. No business can survive if you don't have processes in place.
Absolutely.
I think when you first start, it's hard because you're learning and you don't really know everything. But I think once you sort of get through that, you know, first year hump, it's so important. Processes. You have to build a business that is not dependent on you, but that's dependent on the processes that you put in place. I think what was a testament to what we've created was when I started being able to take and go on vacation and not get a single call from any member of my team, because they had it. They knew what was going on. They knew how to handle it, and no one had to interrupt my trip. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
It's huge.
And I think when you talk about processes, because, you know, I wanted to ask you about the systems. What systems exactly did you put in place that has now given you that flexibility? I mean, I've seen the beautiful vacations you and your family go on, and you seem completely at ease. What systems would you advise entrepreneurs out there to implement to have that sort of business built for freedom?
So when I say processes, I mean every aspect of your business. I'm talking about your customer service, your financials, your operations, everything. So I'll give you an example as far as operations go. Whenever we hire a new person in our, you know, within our operations team, they come in and they get like literally a manual. This is how an order is fulfilled. This is sort of how the warehouse works. This is how products come in. This is how products go out. There's a system in place. So it is done exactly the same way every time. When you think about it, think about McDonald's. Every McDonald's that you go to, whether it's in Tennessee or in Florida or in Atlanta, the fries taste the same. But why is that? Because they put processes in place so that it is built for even a dummy to be able to do it. So that way you won't over fry it.
You know the exact
you know the exact amount of whatever goes into it. It's the same thing with your business, your customer service. Everything needs to be optimized in a way that allows new team members, old team members to do it the same way, the way you would have done it.
Exactly.
How you had that problem like letting go was because I hadn't at the time put things in place to allow other people to tap into what I had learned
Yeah.
through the journey, what I knew through the journey. So I had to share it. I had to document it and put it down for other people to be able to learn it.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you're saying that, because a lot of entrepreneurs, they have everything in their head and they think, okay, it's obvious.
Yeah. You have to put it down on paper.
Yeah.
Every single thing. Even as little, it says, even goes as far as like when we work with our graphic artist, he knows these are the lingerie fonts. These are the fonts that we use for all of our ads and copy. And it's just, it's not just, it can't stay in Uyo's head, right? It's this is how we do it. This is what it looks like. This is
absolutely. No, that makes sense. Absolutely. So I want to ask you, because one of the biggest challenge for businesses, I know we spoke a lot about challenges, but I think that's, people want to understand, how they can get to the next level. It's brand awareness. As a new brand in the market, how were you able to get the U lingerie brand to where it is today?
So when we started, to be honest, we leveraged, it kind of happened in a way that was like, oh my gosh. So let me give you the story. So we launched, and when we launched, we had been building sort of like the excitement on Facebook. This was before Facebook was, built in a way that now you have to pay for your posts to get to.
Yeah, we all know how Facebook is. Yeah.
You already opted to follow your page. This was before, when everything was sort of gravy. Okay.
Yeah.
When we launched, we had all these moms who were waiting in excitement, who couldn't wait to get their hands on these pretty nursing bras that they only dreamed of. Okay. That was also affordable, so when we launched, all these moms bought the products and went on their own to these mommy websites and blogged about it. You can believe what, this is a nursing bra. Look how cute it is. Look how pretty it is. And it's comfortable and and it carries my size, and I'm a 40F and all these great things. And we were seeing traffic coming to the site from all of these, like, Baby Center, What to Expect, unaided. Okay. And then it dawned on us, oh my goodness, this network of people, moms, huge and so much influence. So what we decided to do was tap into it. So we started to build on it and work with bloggers and find more influencers. So we were able to do it. Another way that we learned really quickly, email marketing. Honey, it is free. These are people who have given you their ears. So why in the world will you not market to them? Why in the world will you not incent them?
I actually had a very shocking conversation recently, because I was saying I was having a client meeting, and his assistant said, well, I don't see why we need to be building an email list and emailing people. And
world, are you kidding me?
I thought, wow, it just surprised me that there's so much education that needs to go into letting entrepreneurs know that this is a way to grow your business.
It is huge. And we see the biggest bang for our buck every year when we look at sort of what we spend on marketing and what the return, the ROI on it. It's ridiculous. And we realized it early on and built upon it. And today we can't live without it. And the thing is, when you think about all of the other, vehicles of marketing tools that you could use, tomorrow Facebook could completely be gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instagram could be gone. And what do you have? Your email list is yours. Nobody can take that away from you. So it is so huge. And I don't understand it. You're right. When people don't get that, like, are you kidding me?
Take it with, light bulb. Yeah.
That is like task number one. You got to build your email list if you want to survive, So, I mean, just doing things like that were really scrappy. We had a finite amount of money and I wanted it to be successful. So I used a lot of like my learnings when I worked at Kraft, because I was a brand manager. Of course, when I worked at Kraft, I had millions of dollars in budget, but that was money. So when I'm dealing with my money, I have to be a little bit, a
little bit more conservative.
Yes, when I'm spending my own money. Exactly. So, it was just being really, really, really crafty with you know, the ideas and the
resources that you have.
exactly.
But since then, you've gone big media and you've been featured on the New York Times, Glamour magazine, Cosmopolitan magazine, Huffington Post, the Today Show. I mean, how has being present on these media houses that have a huge reach, how has that helped grow your business?
Hugely, hugely, hugely. And it's helped sort of put the brand on, you know, a level that allows people to be like, yes, they're here to stay, and you know, it's legit. All of those things. I think it's been amazing. The New York Times article that was written, it was just because she was just doing research and came across our site. And, you know, I got a call. I never forget. I was in my office, like someone from the New York Times. I'm like, what? What happened? What did we do? She's like, I want to interview you. And is it okay for me to use, you know, the quotes that we're going to talk about? Yeah. And it's just gone on from there. And the same thing with the Glamour interview. It was just, you know, a reporter who's sort of enamored by, these can't be nursing bras. These can't be maternity bras. Like, how is that even possible? Right. You know? And I almost feel like part of it too is sort of changing people's perspective, where you're a mom, so that means you kind of have to dumb down the sexy, or you have to dumb down the fashion. You know what I mean? It's sort of just realigning people's way of thinking. So, but it's been huge. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's been amazing. I
know you have like all these celebrity sightings, even with your new brand, Preggo Leggins and stuff. Yeah. How's that also helping the brand?
Exciting. It definitely gives you sort of that, oh my God, like we are doing something really amazing. You know, there are times when orders would come in and someone would recognize the name of like someone that might be really like famous. And we're like, are you sure that's really them? Oh my God, you know? And, you know, and we do the happy dance. Like my team, we're really silly and we celebrate little wins and big wins, all of it. You know, you have to, so that it makes it better for you to show up to work the next day and want to, you know, do better. But
exactly.
But it's amazing.
So my next question is, what was your biggest lesson on product positioning? Like knowing where's the right place to place your product in the market to reach your ideal customer, and in terms of, you know, just aligning it with the right partners.
I always say, one, you should know who your customers are. I mean, I think before you even launch your business, you have an idea of who you're trying to talk to. But as you become a real business and you start selling, it's important to understand who she is. You know, our customer, when we look at who our customer base is, she has a name.
Great. So I want you to share with us, because a lot of people struggle with limiting beliefs. Can you just think of one limiting belief you had growing up that you had to let go of so you can succeed in your business?
Honestly, I can't think of one. I feel like growing up, like our parents, I say our because I'm one of six, but growing up, it's always sort of been, you're going to be an engineer and you're going to go study and be a doctor and all of that. Like and my parents have never sort of put anything in our heads that has made us feel like we couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of fearlessness that I've seen in my dad, for example. You know, at a really young age, he had like me and two of my sisters. We were really young, and he was just like, we were in Nigeria at the time. And he was like, you know, I'm going to go try to make a better life for us. And just up and left and went to the US to study and go to college and all of that to create a life that he wanted for his family. Mm-hmm. So just the ability to just take up and go, even though you have 3 small children, and my mom feeling like, I got this, you know, I'm going to be able to hold the fort down, you know. It's just a testament to sort of what I've been surrounded by just from a very young age to where I am now, you know, like just do it. Like, it's my favorite thing to say, just do it. What's the worst that can happen, you know? So I can't really think of anything that I've always thought about, like, oh, do this. No, I've always known that, like, what if I put my mind to it, if I work really hard at something, I can achieve whatever that dream is. And it's the same thing I try to teach my daughter, who is 7, you know. I always tell her, every problem has a solution. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, how big, how small. It's just a matter of choices and what you're willing to do to get the solution. Some are more expensive, some are harder, and you know, but there's a solution to every problem. Your business is not doing well, there's a solution. You just think about it from a different perspective, but there's an answer to everything. You know, there's for everything.
And my final question to you is, I really love this line. I read it somewhere. You said, I love the person I've become because I fought to become her. And I love that.
Thank you. So, I mean, to be honest, it's the journey. It's looking at every decision that I've ever made, from when I was a tiny little girl in Nigeria to making a decision to go to, you know, get an engineering degree, even if I didn't feel like that was what I was going to pursue, but it was a stepping stone in the right directions and opportunities that came after, and all of those things. And to be honest, when I look at the story that my life has written or told, I'm very proud of who this woman is today, and who I am, and it's still, you know, it's a work in progress. You know, I still have a lot to learn, and I sort of, you know, approach life with a childlike mind, where there's, you know, there's still so much to learn, there's so much to do, there's so much to achieve. And for me, you know, I fought to be this person. I, you know, grabbed opportunities when they came and I took them on, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And you know what? When it didn't work, it was okay, because I learned great lessons from business decisions that didn't go so well, you know, making the wrong decision and partnering with the wrong, you know, big box retailer. You know, all of those things are a sum of who this person is, and I'm very proud of who this person is. You know,
now I asked that because I know that a lot of people think, they might see you and say, oh, she's just lucky, or maybe she had it to begin with, or maybe she had help along the way. And what do you have to say to people who almost always attribute to everything and with to luck, and think that life is happening to them and not for them?
Honestly, get off your butt, get off your behind. I curse, but I'm going to keep your show PG. But to be honest, you know, that's crap, because everyone makes their own luck. You know, it is a matter of choice. Like, you make your own luck. There's, you know, you know, with every opportunity, sometimes it's a mixture of luck and it's a mixture of, you know, the opportunity. But at the end of the day, you know, there's plenty of people that have come from absolutely nothing. And I didn't grow up with a whole lot, you know, my parents didn't have a lot, you know, when I was growing up. Now they're well-to-do and now they have money, but they struggled and worked really hard. Like, and the same thing. I mean, growing up, my dad would tell us stories about when he was growing up. They were so poor. He didn't even have, his parents didn't have money for his school uniform. And it's a testament to sort of teaching us, you know, nothing comes to you. You have to go out there and work for it and earn it. And the thing is, to be honest, when you work hard for stuff, like when you go out and earn it and stop feeling sorry for yourself, you actually appreciate the result better.
Because you know what it took to get there.
And you keep it longer because you worked so hard for it, and you're not going to just let it go, you know, versus when you're handed down an opportunity, like, or I always say to people, when you don't work hard for it, you're not going to realize the value in it.
It's so true. It's so true. I think even for me, I can think of like whenever I had a big challenge, I would just remind myself, listen, I didn't come this far to stop now. Like,
or to
this
fail.
can't be the end of the story. No way. I have to turn this
Absolutely
around. Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of it is your attitude. A lot of it is your mind.
Hmm.
You know, I read somewhere, I forget whose quote this is, but it says whether you can do it or you can't, you are right
Yeah.
either way. So if you tell yourself that you can't do it, you're right. You
Yeah.
can't. If you tell yourself that, you know what, forget this, I can do this,
Absolutely.
right. Because it's all about your attitude. There's power to what your mind can conceive, you know?
It
So
is so
I
true.
always, tell people, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Just get up and just do it, you know? Does that mean this is going to be easy? Absolutely not, you know? Give me one person who is a success story today, even Oprah, that didn't have struggles, that didn't fail, that didn't come up with, that didn't face obstacles and challenges and having to sort of break through glass
Absolutely.
ceilings. Tell me one person, and I'd be like, nope. Here all the examples of when they were like, oh my God, oh
Yeah.
shoot, you know.
Exactly.
So,
And I
no,
think even when people say, well, this person started off well to do, I think it takes a lot, even when you start with a lot, to keep it. So it's still work to try to keep what you have or to build
success.
what you have.
On my website, on my blog, I have a quote by Winston Churchill that says, failure is not fatal and success is not final. So you could be successful today, but tomorrow doesn't mean you're going to always be successful. You can lose it, so it's a testament to those who have done the work, that have gotten to the place where they can enjoy the fruits of their labor, to say, it hasn't always been easy. Don't let Instagram fool you.
Exactly.
Don't let the fabulous lifestyle that people put out there. It is a grind,
I always say that. I say, Instagram, it's great. And we always post the pretty pictures because people, we like to express that. I mean, encourages people. But I always think, boy, most times people miss the hustle in between, that daily grind to make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a story to everything, It didn't happen overnight because, yes, I'm on this fabulous vacation, wherever.
But how many hours did you put in for that vacation?
Exactly. And, you didn't get to see the tears that were cried on those long nights when my shipment was a complete mess and we had to spend money to redo it, or, you know what I mean? Like there's just all of those struggles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's all worth it when you can sit back and see what you've built and what you've created. And you have certainly done an amazing job with your products and your company. And I know that you'll continue to grow. You've just extended the line. So now you have, in addition to you lingerie, you have the Preggo leggings. So for all the soon-to-be moms out there, you definitely want to try out Uyo's products. Uyo, just tell us where we can get your products online and the stores that your products are available at in country.
Yes, absolutely. So we're sold really all over the world. We have our online store, which is for you lingerie, which is our maternity and nursing lingerie company. It's www.u-lingerie.com. You can buy it, and we ship worldwide. And there's a number of stores that carry our products all over the world, in Africa, in South America, in Australia, in Europe. So, I mean, you just have to figure out where you are and where, what your closest location is. So you can put that into the website. And then for Preggo leggings, that's our very chic maternity leggings and maternity apparel company. And that can be purchased at www.preggoleggings.com. And as well, we're sold worldwide. You just have to figure out, depending on where you are, what stores carry our products. And I just recently did a partnership with Walmart.com.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Where we launched a branded line for them just to fit their customer. And it's called Love XOXO by You Lingerie. So it's has all the bells and whistles of in the essence of You Lingerie, but just a little bit more affordable for their customer base.
Excellent. Well, great job, Uyo. I mean, it's been such a wonderful time speaking to you. We had a few little hiccups in between, but it was all worth it.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so glad that I finally got to chat with you. You're doing an amazing, amazing, amazing job. I was on your website snooping around. So great stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll definitely keep in touch and have a wonderful day.